Hi and welcome to this chess session here for you. I'm David Wegener and here we go with this game that I have here for you. This is a very instructional ball game and it's none other than Paul Morphy who played this game back in Paris, March of 1859. Paul is playing an amateur at the game in a social occasion. The opening is a two knights defense, so without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so first of all we have e4 of course, and e5, and knight f3, and knight c6, and bishop c4, and knight f3. Knight f6, knight f3 for black if it was recorded in the old days, if you get what I mean with descriptive notation. So here white, Paul Morphy, plays against the amateur. We will say on move 4 d4. Okay, so the amateur now captures the pawn with the pawn on d4. Now here comes Mr. Paul Morphy's move castling. So already, if we just do a rough count here, white has castled already and developed their bishop and knight, of course, with a pawn on e4. These are the important things in the opening to consider when we're playing someone over the board. To have some central awareness of our pieces and pawns, to get developed quickly, and to put our king away safely somewhere. That is the main subjectives of the opening in chess, is to have some influence in the center with pawns and or pieces, to castle away somewhere or get our king safe so that we don't have to worry about small pieces coming around and bothering our king, and to develop, which is the main one, I think. So here, unlike what I've just said, black now captures with knight e4. Now this is quite okay, and it was considered quite okay, but now it might not be so good. So here the move for white is knight is on e4, so we're going to play rook e1 now. And this is, of course, just threatening rook e4. Okay, so black plays a very sensible looking move, which is d5. Okay, now it's your move. Now you might know this opening, the two knights defense. You might know what's the best move here considered, as far as I'm concerned, for white. So what would you play here now for white? So Paul Morphy now plays this move. Good on you if you found this move, because this is some main line. I won't say it's the actual main line. Queen takes bishop. Looks like black's just won a piece for nothing. So now Paul, this is still the game, Paul now plays knight c3. And of course, if pawn takes knight, then we have queen takes queen, and the game's more or less over. And we cannot play knight takes here because it's check to the king, of course. So Paul's opponent played queen h5. Now, there is a better move that experts back then said, that they believe that queen d8 or queen to queen 1 is best here for black. But that may have changed since the writing of this book. Maybe even queen a5. Maybe that will be a bit more proactive. So anyway, here's queen h5, okay? And of course we just went knight takes knight. And now we're threatening something. What's that we're threatening? We're threatening sort of two things here. We're threatening, one, what are we threatening? Even though it's still the opening for both black and also white, we're threatening something here. We're threatening, one, we're threatening checkmate. Two, we're threatening the queen on h5. So one, we're threatening if black makes a casual bad move here, like bishop to g4, then black will get met with knight f6 check. And white can take their choice between knight takes queen and also rook e1 to e8 checkmate. Because this is a double check, you see. So this is the beauty of looking at Paul Morphy games. He utilizes a lot of the time the double check, the rook check and the knight check. And it's quite hard to do anything about it, except for, from a double move, there is an exception, is to move out of check with the king. And here we can see very clearly that rook e8 is checkmate, as the rook cannot be captured because of the protection of the knight on f6. So if we go back now, we will just play the move as it was played, bishop e6. So move 10, they give here, the book gives bishop e7 is better. But was played bishop e6. Now we have an interesting move. Now what would you play here, trying to keep to the time I want to spend on this today, is what would you play? Now white makes another move with their knight. So there you go, there's an example. So knight eg5. Now we're threatening clearly the pawn on e6. Once it captures knight e6, we have fe6, rook e6 check. So bishop b4, this will not do because it's in our rook. So here's rook e6, pawn takes, and now knight takes, which threatens, among other things, knight takes g7 check and knight takes queen, forking the queen and king with the royal fork. So here we have queen f7 and knight fg5 and queen e7 and queen e2, bishop d3, and here book gives king to d7, queen to knight 4 or g4, knight to king 4, queen to h3 is looking quite happy for white. So bishop d6, then we have, what would you play now? I was going to try to make this just 10 minutes, but here we have this move, you see, because the queen cannot capture because of its check. So the king then moves out of the way, because with a knight check you can only either take the piece, which black cannot, or move out of check with the king. So here's king d7. Now everyone, including I, can see the next move is queen g4. Now white has to be very careful next move, because if white is careless, then they will get checkmated down here on e1. Queen e1 checkmate, and that is not the move, computer. So now comes the main move, is king d8. Now it's your move. What would you play here now? Now they say that it is an unsound move from Paul Morphy's hand, but given the occasion it wasn't being taken too seriously, although black should have played after this move should just carry on and gets to a 1 position for black. So black played queen f7 because now we can't play queen e1 checkmate. And here comes bishop g5, and here is where the amateur actually dropped the ball. The amateur played knight to e7, as there's not many other moves to play, but bishop e7 is the move that was actually played, sorry. So bishop e7 was the move that was played, but here black should really play knight to e7, and the black king can escape easily, but played bishop e7. So the move that they suggest here is knight e7. And now it is checkmate in a number of moves. Can you see checkmate? Or pretty bad for black? Now black gets checkmated with the following, which involves the Philidor's legacy, is knight e6 check. Now, other than king e8, it's not very nice for black, really, is it? We have king c8. Maybe king d7 is a better try, but here is king c8. Everyone can see the following is knight c5 check, king b8. Now we have a check again with the knight, and then the king goes to c8. And now there is another double check of white's hand with knight b6. And now if king d7, if king d8, then we have queen to d7 checkmate. However, black played king b8. So it's 2 moves to checkmate. Can you find 2 moves to checkmate, given that I've just said that it's the Philidor's legacy? And then that will be the end of this session without any further talk from me. Okay, so here we go. The move is, good on you for finding it, queen c8. Huh? Lost the queen. Rook c8 and knight d7 checkmate. So Paul Morphy was a wee bit lucky that his opponent didn't play exactly the right move.